Holy Ghost, Batman by Amorloran. Chapter 9. Hair, History, and Hypothesis. The smell of lavender, shampoo, and heat protectant spray now mingled with the faint scent of nail polish in the chic Gotham saloon. The chaos of earlier pedicures had given way to organized beauty warfare, and stylists buzzed from chair to chair, comb in holsters, and blow dryers firing like engines. The entire girls' squad, Jazz, Sam, Stephanie, Barbara, Cass, Kate, Harper, Selena, and even Pamela and Harley, had migrated into the hair section like a migrating flock of glittery chaos, each of them seated at a mirror station. Jazz sat in a leather swirl chair with a towel around her shoulders, eyeing the color swatches being fanned out in front of her like tarot cards. "I'm not going full red," she warned. "This isn't a die-to-match-your-mom situation." Kate in the next chair leaned over with a smirk. "Good. We'd clash, and besides, red's already claimed." She pointed her thumb at Barbara, who offered a regal nod from a blowout station. "I'm thinking of warm copper," the stylist offered. Jazz gave it a non-committal grunt, but didn't object. Holly grinned, glancing at Pamela, who rolled her eyes as the apparently fourth-wheeled redhead. "So how do you two know each other?" Kate reclined as her own stylist began working mouses into her hair. "You know, our mothers were cousins." Jazz blinked. "Wait, what?" "Yeah, my mom, Gabby Kane, and your grandma on your mother's side. What was her name?" Hazel Mayhew." Unnoticed by all but Holly, both Pamela and Barbara flinched. Now what was that about? She wondered. Kate nodded. "Right. They were cousins. Shared a grandfather. So technically, you and I are second cousins once removed." Jazz stared at her for a beat, then leaned back in her chair. "Well, that explains so much." "Right," Kate said smugly. "Why do you think you and I both have the family I can fix this complex?" From across the saloon, Stephanie had been listening in, while trying not to eavesdrop, but something about the coincidence scratched at her instincts. She slowly turned in her chair, eyes narrowing at Jazz and Kate. Cousins. Coincidences didn't exist in Gotham, not real ones. She stood, towel still around her neck, and stepped out the back door of the saloon into the cool air of the alleyway. The hum of blow dryers cut off behind her as she hit Tim on the speed dial. He answered before the first string finished. "I had a feeling you were about to call." "Oh, did you?" Stephanie crossed her arms and leaned against the wall. "Did you also feel that the saloon is full of long-lost cousins, like it's some kind of high-end soap opera?" "I'm guessing Jazz and Kate had the family tree conversation," Tim said dryly. "So that wasn't a coincidence?" "Nope." He didn't even try to deflect it. "I arranged the adoption with contingencies in case something happened to the Fentons. My goal was to place Danny somewhere far from Gotham, but not completely disconnected." Stephanie blinked. "You're saying Danny's adoptive family, you picked them because they have some distant tie to the Waynes?" "Distant but real," Tim said. "Their background checks, psychology profiles, and education records were solid. The Fentons were smart, eccentric but safe, and they had family, barely known to them, who could step in if needed. The Waynes. You know how this works. I planned for if it went wrong." Stephanie leaned her head against the brick. "You planned for everything, didn't you?" There was a pause. "Not everything," Tim admitted. "I didn't plan for how much it would hurt to let him go, or how happy I'd be when he came looking." Stephanie closed her eyes. Her heartbeat slowed. Thanks, she whispered. Hey, Tim added before she could hang up. You've always had good instincts. You were right to be suspicious. Stephanie gave a soft laugh. Yeah, well, as long as the plan includes Batman and I actually read that part. You were right to plan. I will be back inside. Try not to micromanage the place setting while I'm gone. No promises. She hung up and took a moment to breathe before walking back inside, rejoining the buzz of the dryers and the chaos of women halfway through their glow-up. Harley now in one of the spinning chairs, and mid-argument with her stylist about Sparker Radio, immediately spotted her return. Stephanie! Harley called tyrannically, flipping one ponytail. Okay, so Selena is being a stick in the mud about this whole family dinner thing, and says Pam and I shouldn't crash because it's not appropriate, and we're not technically family. She crossed her arms with a pout. Can you believe that? Stephanie raised an eyebrow as she reclaimed her seat. Technically, this dinner is for family. I am emotionally adopted, Holly protested, and Pam is basically Ophelia over there. Honorary auntie, now. Sam let out a squawk of indignation before pausing and accepting the nickname. Pamela, sitting serenely with her hair pinned in curls, raised a hand without looking up from her botanical magazine. I'm Switzerland in this. Selena! Holly whined, poking the woman's arm. Selena didn't look up from her phone. No chaos. That's all I asked. No promises. Stephanie muttered under her breath. Holly brightened. So is that a yes? Selena sighed, relenting with a slight smile. If Bruce doesn't throw a wine glass, you can stay. Holly squealed with glee and spun her chair in a circle. Back in her own seat, Stephanie looked at herself in the mirror. Her cheeks flushed, her eyes a little less shadowed. Somehow, all of this, the madness, the old wounds, the new connections, was beginning to stitch together. And Danny? He was at the center of it all, not an outsider, but part of a legacy. A complicated, chaotic, extraordinary legacy. And it was just getting started.